Welcome to your mobility session. In today's workout, you might need a foam roller. If you don't have one, that's fine. I've got an option for you without. And also if you've got some sort of mop or stick or dressing gown robe and tie, then you're going to need that. And just to say again, there's no music for this one. So put on your own music, anything that's going to make you feel energized to make it through your workout. Take it at your own pace and enjoy. So we're going to start with a roll down. So you're going to bring the arms all the way up, bring them down, roll through the spine. And you're just going to hang out the bottom here, sway the arms each way, and gently bring yourself up. Good. Once you recover to center, we're going to do the same thing. Arms come up and roll down. Swaying from side to side. You can make this as big or small as you like. Okay. Good. This time we're going to take those arms up, roll through the spine and walk it out into a plank position. Walking it back in, stretching the legs and rolling up. Arms coming up, rolling down, out into your plank. Walking it in and rolling up. Good, we're going to go for two more. Rolling down, walking it out. This time bring the hips down, walk it in, roll through. Last one. Bring the hips down and then flip it over into your downward dog. Just take a moment here. Opening up for the first time today. Good, walk those hands all the way back into the feet. Take a moment here, you can bend those knees, give them a bit of a shake, and then slowly just unroll through the spine. You're going to bring your arms overhead. And we're just going to pump the arms forward. We're keeping them really strong. You can see my fingertips are really active. And I'm keeping, it's almost as if I'm trying to push the air forwards. The body will move in response, and that's okay. Just make sure you keep the shoulders down so they don't come up. They're down and strong. We're just getting that blood pumping around into the back of the shoulders. Good, we go for 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good, and just shake that out. If you've got a stick, it could be a broomstick, it could be a mop, even if you've got a dressing gown robe or a band, you can use anything like that you're just going to place your hand on either side of, and we're going to bring the arms backwards and forwards. Again, I'm trying to keep my shoulders down and allow that motion. This is just opening up into the shoulders. If it's too easy, really far out, you can always bring your hands in to get a little bit more of a challenge through that shoulder there. Good, we'll take one more. And then we're just going to take them on a little around the world. So opening up into those shoulders. Good, 3 in one direction. And we'll come around. 1, 2, and 3. Lovely. We're going to place that down. And we're just going to get slightly more dynamic with our reaching and twisting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my right leg. I'm going to circle it, open, come into this side lunge, and I'm going to press away to the opposite corner. And what I'm trying to do here is not sit in the back, but really tuck under and reach to the corner. I come back down, I come into the center. I'm going to reach through, fold with a flat back over the top, drop the head, roll through the spine, bring the arms up. I'm going to circle, drop, reverse, and up. And I'm going to send one hand melting down towards the floor, and up, and then down, and up. And then we're going to do all of that the other way. So actually I'm going to shuffle more into the middle. I go left side, left. I come down, reach, down, center, reaching, and then flat back over the top. Drop the head, roll the spine all the way up. Circle, release, back. And then sending the hand down, and reach, and down, and reach. Good, we come back to the right side. Circle out, down, up, down, into the center, reach, flat back, tuck, and roll. Circle, drop, up, recover, melt, and up, melt, and up. Good, we go once more to the left. Circle, down, up, down, center, flat back, roll through the spine, swing in those arms, relax, up, bring the arm down, and center, and down, and center. Lovely. Relax that down. We're going to come down towards the mat, and we're just going to come into this kneeling position. So I'm going to go with my left leg forward first. All I'm going to do from here is push forward and find some rotations, some circles as I push around. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to get into the ankles and really warm them up. So push as far forward as it feels comfortable. Once you've done 5 in one direction, you're going to rotate back 1, 2, 3, 4, and last one, 5. Good, we're just going to come into a hip flexor stretch. So staying where we are here, I'm going to take my opposite hand to the leg that's up. So that's my right hand. I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to rotate towards this leg. So what I'm doing is stretching out down the hip flexor. You can put a cushion underneath this knee if this is really uncomfortable as well. I'm going to rotate, keep the glutes tucked. I'm lifting up and I'm stretching out that hip flexor. Good, bring that down. From here, we're going to lift off that back knee, and we are going to take the left arm up to the ceiling, and then we're going to bring the left arm elbow down towards the floor. So we come up and down. Good, we go for 2 more. Good, then you're going to see if you can stay here, place that back knee down again and come down onto those elbows. If that's really challenging, just stay up onto the hands. Just take a moment here. You can kind of rock forward and back. What you want to try and do when you're working with mobility is open into new areas, new tight areas. So if you wiggle around, you'll find areas that are tighter than others. And that's what we want to find. Good. Recover. Bring that foot back. We're going to go same thing on the other side. So we've got these big rotations, circles over the top of the ankle. Good. Once you've done 5 in one direction, reverse and come back the other way. 1, 2, 3. 5, good. And then we're going to come into our hip flexor stretch. So this time we bring the left arm up and we rotate towards that leg. So we're not coming over the top, we're turning to face the leg. I'm keeping my left glute squeezed so I can feel that nice stretch down the hip flexors. Good, you can hold this for longer if you'd like to. I'm not, just because I have the power to continue so you get more material, but if you want to hold it for longer, just pause the video. Good, then we're gonna lengthen that back leg. Try and really stretch that knee. This time we're gonna bring the right arm up. Elbow down. Good, last one. Good, and then we're bringing that back knee down to the floor. And then if we can, we're bringing the elbows down to the floor. You might find one side's a lot trickier. I find with this side, I can only get my left elbow down and not my right. So we're all a little bit different. So just work into what feels good for you. Good, and again, taking those little wiggles. Good, and bring it back. So I'm gonna face you just so you can see what I'm doing. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stay in this all fours position. I'm gonna extend one leg out to the side. From here, I'm just exploring the space around me. So I'm walking my hands in all different directions. You can bring them underneath that leg. You can come down onto the elbows. What we're really doing is exploring this inner thigh and the hip. So as you move, you'll find that stretch in a slightly different place. So you're just really trying to open up in different ways. It should feel like a really nice stretch. Good, then center back up again. And you're going to take the opposite arm to the leg that's out, and you're gonna open up the elbow to the ceiling, and then you're going to tuck underneath the arm, and this arm's going to stay nice and straight. Open up. Good, one more. Lovely, and then we're going to swap over to the other side. So bring that right leg out. I'm just going to explore the space. Good, center back up. This time, left elbow to ceiling and tuck underneath. Good, trying to open as much as you can. 2 more repetitions. Good, lovely. We're going to stay in this all fours position, and we're just going to do some cat-cows. So cat-cows with the difference. You may have done these many a time before, but often what happens when we're doing cat-cows is we just sink in and we kind of really drop into this lower back because that's the easiest bit. And then as we push out, we tend to really push up into the top here, again, because that's the easiest part. So what I actually want you to focus on is something slightly different here. So as we come through, instead of thinking about dropping that lower back, I want you to think about pulling the chest forward through the hands, so that actually trying to bring this back a bit more to neutral. So I'm not completely sitting in it, I'm pulling it in and I'm pulling the chest through the arms. So actually what I'm stretching is this top bit, which is the trickiest part. And then as I push up and out, again, I'm not going to push up as much as I can here. I'm going to bring it back a bit and really think about pushing up in the lower back here. This way, we're just activating into the mobility in the areas that we really need them. So again, pulling the chest forward is my main focus here. And then pushing up in the lower back. It might be a lot harder, so you'll be very used to doing it in its most natural way. But this is a really great way to try cat-cow in the future. Good, I'm going to go for one more repetition. Pulling the chest through the arms. And I'm pushing that lower back up and away. Good, and then we're just going to look back towards our heels. Come side to side. Try not to move the hips. It's just the upper torso that you're going to move. So you get this side to side action, like so. Good, and then you're going to walk that back into your child's pose. So rest that forehead on the floor. I'm going to think about somebody pulling my fingertips out and away, so I've got this real length. Take a few deep breaths here. Here we're going to walk our hands over to one side and pull. You should feel it come all the way down this side, down the arm and through the spine. You can keep that forehead relaxed. Good, then walk it over to the other side. Same thing here. Good, and rolling back through the spine. So what we're going to do now is actually just focus on some pelvis stability and mobility. And it's more about bringing awareness to the mobility that you have and where your hips naturally sit. I think this is so important because it's not often spoken about enough or often enough. We'll talk about it once and then we move on. So with anything you're doing, we really want to find this neutral spine. We've spoken about this in other places in the Movement Academy about being stacked over the top so that our ribs sit directly over our hips. We're not kind of pushing the chest out and arching into that lower back. So we're just going to bring some attention and time to that by coming into our all fours position again. And we're just going to find the two extremes of that. So what I'm going to do is try and find what I think is neutral. So that would mean that everything is stacked. And then I'm going to allow myself to drop into this tilted position. And then I'm going to come back to neutral. And then I'm going to tuck underneath and find the opposite. So I'm trying to find the two extremes of the movement. And then I'm going to come back to neutral. And then I'm going to allow myself to tilt neutral, tuck. Now when you're in neutral, it'll feel kind of strange. It should feel sort of weightless actually. And then when you are in the other two positions, you should feel like a lot more weight in these places and a lot more sort of strain. And it sort of shows you the power of what being in neutral means. When I'm central, everything's exactly where it should be, and it feels really good for the body. It might feel really strange if that's not where you tend to have your pelvis as you walk or as you stand. So this is why this is great exercise. Good. Tucking underneath. Good, and don't move too quickly through them. Really allow yourself the time to sit and see how each one feels. Good, last tuck. And bring it back to neutral. Great stuff. Nice. So we're now going to come back into some shoulder opening. What we're going to do here is the YTW exercise, which is one of my favorites. So she's just going to move these things. And we're going to come down to the floor and we're going to take our arms up in front of us. What we're going to do is lift the arms up into a Y. We're going to hold for a couple of seconds, bring them into a T shape, and then lift and squeeze the shoulder blades into a W. And then we're going to repeat. So this whole time we're really thinking about those shoulder blades trying to squeeze together, especially as we come into that W, you can get a really nice squeeze. Good, we're going to go for 8 repetitions. This is number 5. T, W. Number 6. 1, 2, and squeeze. Last 2 repetitions. You should get a nice burning in the back of that shoulders as well. Squeeze. Great stuff. Nice, relax it down. Good, and then we're going to switch back to come into the hips. So we're going to do a couple of things here. First one is, I'm just going to face you so you can see, is we're just going to take a little rock from side to side. This is just a really nice natural way to kind of wake up and stretch through those hips. Good. One more each way. And then I'm going to come back to center, and I'm going to think about letting one knee come down to the floor at a time. I'm just going to do this for 8 times too. Try and keep that foot on the floor as much as you can. 3. Good, we've got 2 more. And then you're going to take the other one. You might find that one knee, one side, it's much easier for your hip to do this movement than the other. But it's really good. We're bringing awareness to those areas. And I'm making sure that I'm keeping the bum cheek on the floor as much as I can. Try not to lift off so that you can get it down. Good, 1 more rep. Nice. Extend the legs out in front of you. I'm actually going to come back this way for space. So what we're going to try and do here is lift one leg up. I'm going to try and bring it round to the side, stay if I can, as much as I can, without lifting the bum off, and bring it round, and then bring it back again. This exercise is horrible, just so you know, but it's also great. So I'm going to stay on this side. I'm just going to do 5. You might get a little bit of cramping here. Hopefully the more you do it, the more your body will allow you to do it without that cramping sensation. Good, I'm going to go for one more. Oh, it gets tired quickly. Good, and then swap over. So the misconception with mobility is sometimes that it's just about stretching, but I hope there's a bit more awareness being built up about it, but it's actually about exploring range and moving through range. So what we're trying to do is challenge what we already have and push that a little bit further. So exercises like these are actually really important for just bringing awareness to your body and the imbalances, also allowing you to practice moving in these ranges. But it can be a little bit uncomfortable. Good, we're going to go for one more. Excellent, nice. Bringing that back down. If you don't have a foam roller, at this point, I just want you to have a nice stretch. So we are going to come forward just into a hamstring stretch, and you can do that for a minute and then come into a quad stretch on each side. So either tucking this leg back and laying back this way. You can also do that by actually sitting on that leg, pulling the leg back and walking the hands. So if you don't have a foam roller, go for that. A minute for the hamstring stretch, a minute for a stretch on each quad. If you do have a foam roller, what we're going to do is actually just get into a couple of the most tight spots that people tend to have, which is our hip flexors. These can get super tight. If we're sitting all day long, they get very cramped. Also, if we're doing activity, they're very active through the legs. So what we're going to do is just lay onto the foam roller, and you're trying to find that the fleshy bit. It's kind of here. You'll dig in, and it's when you touch it and you feel a little bit of pain, it's probably that bit, because there'll be the bit that's quite tight. So what you might need to do, if I'm trying to do my right side here, just kind of need to roll around a little bit until I find that sort of pain or that tightness. And then once I've found it, if there's a particular bit that's really tight, I can either hold there, just allow it to ease, or I can just gently rock forward and back. There's no point kind of going too much, you won't get as much from it. So just take it nice and slow and find those areas. When it comes to foam rolling, it can be a little bit awkward to start with, especially because you're having to hold your body weight up. But it's a really great way to release muscle tension without forking out for a massage, even though they're amazing. You can do it a bit more regularly. So even just taking 30 seconds to a minute on each of your hip flexors like we're doing here is just really going to allow them to relax a little bit, so that when you come to your next workout, they're ready and they're less fatigued and tight. Good, so we're just finding that tight spot. Good, and finally, we're just gonna have a little stretch out again for the other sort of tightest spot, which is our thoracic spine. So what I'm gonna do is lay onto it roughly around where my bra strap would sit, or that midsection of the back. And you can either take the arms, cross them over, or you can extend. And what I'm going to do is find this little banana bend over the top. And as you can see, I'm just coming forward and back so that I'm really opening up into that. Good, and then you can cross over the arms and just take it side to side as well. Good, and bring yourself up. So you should be feeling a little bit more open in those shoulders and those hip flexors, and just generally in your whole being after that workout. Again, take this at your own pace. If there's particular movements that are really difficult for you, which they might well be, then pause the video, take your time to move through the workout and press play again, and enjoy.